So you usually see tabs like this, where you might only have two guitars, but because there are multiple guitar sounds being used, like clean, distorted, solos, or some other weird effects that you might only have for one or two bars, you end up with 5, 6, or even 10 tracks, which not only clutter things up, but also make it more difficult to follow along when learning any songs. Thankfully, in Guitar Pro 7, there's a way to change the sound of the instrument in the same track. So you go from this to this, and you can actually follow along without having big gaps while you're playing, and not needing to have multiple tracks, most of them being empty for most of the song. All the visual and sound editing is done in the inspection panel, which you can toggle by hitting this icon in the upper left hand corner. Go on tracks, and then you see sounds. Click on the plus icon next to it, and here you can choose a preset that you can change later, or copy your current sound if you just want to change a tiny bit of it, let's say just adding extra distortion or a delay for one certain part, but want to keep the original sound. Clicking here brings down a panel and shows your chain and even the instrument you're using. So you can change the sound of your actual guitar to be like a baritone, a Les Paul, or even a 12 string. You have these nice visual representations of all the effects and amps that you can use, and there's enough that you can essentially create most any sounds that you realistically need. You can also toggle each effect on and off, making it easier to create the exact sound that you want. There's presets for most effects, and you can even copy effects if you want to use them in multiple tracks. Once you have all the sounds that you want to use in the tab, and ideally you would have the tab already written out, because the way it works is that by clicking on the A next to sounds, you get the sound automation panel, and here you could add all the sounds that you've created and tell it which bar to start at and which position, basically inserting these changes into the already created tab. And basically what you have here is that from the beginning of the first bar, it's a clean sound, and then from bar 36, it changes to my overdrive, and then at 94 to a radio sound for 4 bars, after which it goes back to my overdrive tone, and from then on, it just stays like that. You hit OK, and you're basically done. You can see here, it says override, which means this is where the override preset comes into effect. And here's the bit where it says radio, it changes to radio sound, demonstrating it. Make it even more clear if I solo this. And here it's gonna go from the clean sound into the distorted. This will also translate into the lining functionality, so now you're gonna have an automatic patch switcher while playing songs. So basically by clicking on this icon here, turning it on, as long as you have an interface of some sorts, you can basically use Guitar Pro as an amp sim for practicing. This is especially handy if you have songs with solos that might have sounded a little bit flat whilst learning it, now gonna sound just as good as it should be. This is especially handy if you have access to the My Song book library, because all of the songs on there have already implemented these functions. While you can still find good tabs on places like Ultimate Guitar, a lot of them will most likely use older extensions which would have a more broken layout. Although it's easy to convert the old file extensions to the new ones, but if you want to know how to convert those into the newer extensions, I also have a video on that too. I'll leave a link in the video I made in the description below. You can also save any of these as a preset with their own name, even edit to a specific type of sound, and use them later for any other songs or personal projects. If you had any other questions, leave a comment down below, and if this tutorial was helpful, leave a like and subscribe. Thanks!